Welcome to Twin Whistles. I'm your host, Joe Chapin. Today, we're going to be talking about the Detroit Lions versus the Green Bay Packers because this is a critical game for the Detroit Lions. I'll explain why, but if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I really appreciate all your subscriptions. We're going to talk Detroit Lions, Red Wings, Tigers, Pistons, Michigan State. We're going to get into it all. So if you're a Detroit sports fan or just a Lions fan, subscribe. I got enough stuff for everyone. Anyways, I know people read the thumbnail and they were like, "What the hell is this guy talking about? Like, is he dumb? Is he dumb? What does this have to do with being the biggest game in recent history for the Detroit Lions?" And here's what I mean: you beat Atlanta in a game where you were beaten, battered, bruised. You were injured beyond belief. You went to your third tackle on your roster, who was supposed to be a backup guard. He wouldn't play tackle at the end of the game. You later go from Sunday to Thursday, a quick turnaround for any football team, and you go to play a team on the road at Lambeau with Green Bay. Okay? You're 2-1 right now. You're 2-1. If you beat Green Bay, you're 3-1. You could do basic math, you're gonna be all good. If you beat Carolina, because I don't care who Carolina starts at quarterback. It could be Bryce Young. It could be Andy Dalton. I don't think they're as good as you. You're 4-1. You go to Tampa Bay. I don't know what to make of Tampa Bay. I watched the game yesterday. You're gonna get good Baker or bad Baker, and obviously Mike Evans can make things happen. But look, I don't know what to make of Tampa Bay. Let's say you win that game. Okay, you're 5-1. 5-1 in this division. You're pretty much putting a stranglehold on the competition. So let's go forward. We're going to go to the bye week. You go to Baltimore. This is going to be the toughest game and up until the bye week. After Thursday's game, Baltimore will be the toughest game, bar none, because Baltimore has Lamar Jackson. They have Mark Andrews. They have a good defense that can make you pay. It's on the road. Going to Baltimore is never easy, especially late, like in October and November. It's never easy. We've seen them lose against the Colts, but that's not the Baltimore team that I and everyone else knows. So you're going to go to Baltimore. Let's say you lose that game. You're 5-2. You go home. You play the Vegas Raiders, it just boggles my mind. It's the Vegas Raiders because I always want to call them the Oakland Raiders, just like I want to call the Chargers the San Diego Chargers. So if I mix that up, just let me know. I'll try to make a quick mistake, but you go play Vegas. I think you can beat Vegas. They're not a good team. They're not a well-coached team. And you're on Monday Night Football at home. You could literally put a stranglehold on this division by the bye week. By the bye week. And then you come out of the bye week. You play the Chargers. You play the Bears. You play the Packers. Boom, boom, boom. Chargers are going to be tough because going to the West Coast is always tough for the Detroit Lions. You play the Bears. You should beat them. You play the Packers at home on Thanksgiving. You should beat them. This schedule sets up for the Detroit Lions like no other. Like no other. You haven't had a schedule that sets up more than it does right now. And I feel like Thursday's game is huge for the Detroit Lions because if they can win against the Green Bay Packers, it sets them up for long-term sustainability in terms of winning the NFC North. We could talk about what the implications of what they're going to be of the Green Bay game. The implications are, if you look at this division, I don't take Minnesota seriously. I don't take Chicago seriously. And Green Bay is your only competition. And if you can beat them at Lambeau, you have them at home later in the season on Thanksgiving. A game you should win. You should win your home games. Period. End of story. Them losing Seattle, not a great look. Can't do that again. Now you're going to have to go steal one on the road because my line of thinking has always been, if you follow the podcast, Detroit Lions News podcast, you know you have to win your home games. If you lose one at home, you got to steal one on the road. It's just the way it works because if you win all your home games in a 17-game season, if you get 8 home games or 9 home games, you could be, the difference between a winning, like a 11-6 record and a 10-7 record is maybe that loss at home. So you got to go win a game on the road. This Green Bay game is huge because of the divisional implications, because of the teams that are trailing you. You have the Vikings, You have the Bears. The Bears already went to play the Chiefs. The Vikings will play the Chiefs in 2 weeks. That's another loss because I don't think they're beating the Chiefs. You could realistically have this division in your grasp on Halloween night. Realistically, you could have this division in your grasp by Halloween night. Now, it's going to take a lot of work. I think the Detroit Lions have the team to do it. I think this is one of the more talented teams in the NFC. I think that these injuries that are happening early are going to only benefit them going forward. Then you're going to get J-Mo back at the Baltimore game, which is going to be like a trade deadline acquisition, basically. You're going to get a guy like J-Mo back, add to this offense with Sam Laporta, with Amon-Ra St. Brown, with Jahmyr Gibbs, with David Montgomery. It could realistically put you to the stratosphere. You're hoping that J-Mo comes back and puts you in the stratosphere. But this game against Green Bay is one of the biggest games of Dan Campbell's tenure, of Brad Holmes' tenure, of Jared Goff's tenure. Because if you could steal this one on the road, it will open up the whole NFC North in your grasp on Halloween night. You basically having a stranglehold on it with 2 games against Chicago, 1 game against Green Bay, and 2 games against Minnesota. You will have it in your grasp. And it's up to the Detroit Lions to take it. And I know a lot of people want to say it. The whole SOL thing. Take the SOL thing and throw it in the trash. And this is a way to do it. Go win in Green Bay. Take a stranglehold of the divisional tiebreakers because I don't think Chicago or Minnesota is going to be catching you, and have it in your grasp by Halloween night. How great would that be after they beat the Vegas Raiders at home on Monday Night Football? Wouldn't that be freaking great? Now I'm Joe Chap. If you watch throughout this video, we're gonna have a Detroit Lions News podcast tomorrow. We will be broadcasting live to YouTube, so stay tuned to that. I can't wait to give you guys that. And I'm going to see you guys tomorrow with the Detroit Lions podcast. And hopefully the Detroit Lions can live up to their billing and win win Thursday's game, because it would be absolutely huge.